What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here, and I'm excited to have another amazing guest. And we're going to talk about how you can scale your agency faster through one conversation. You're one conversation away from scaling faster. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Hey, Tom, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason, I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. So tell us who you are and what do you do for the people that have not heard of you yet.
I am Tom Schwab. I'm the founder of Interview Valet, a podcast interview marketing service. We help authors, coaches, speakers, brands get their message out on targeted podcast interviews. And I'm here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which proves if you can do it from Kalamazoo, Michigan, you can do it from anywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, tell us, let's kind of jump into it. You talk about kind of your one conversation away from really hitting it out of the park. So I guess elaborate a little bit more for us.
Yeah, as I look at it, everything great in my life has come from a conversation, and that could be that big customer that you acquired. It could be that partnership that you have. It could be that great employee. Heck, take it personally, right? Your spouse. It was probably a one conversation that connected you with them. It wasn't a funnel. It wasn't a, social media strategy. It was conversations. And I think one of the things, while I'm a big proponent of automation, I think it can't replace human connection. And I think the bigger the sale, the bigger the relationship, the more trust is involved in it. We need to focus on conversation as opposed to just automation.
Yeah, I just got off a sales mastermind call. So for our mastermind, we have our own little mastermind just for their salespeople that they can call. And one of the members was talking about, well, hey, I'm taking this course on doing videos to sell better, selling through video. And I told them, I said, let's step back. You're not trying, like, you shouldn't use video to sell someone off the first conversation. You should use it as, how can I get a conversation, in order to just say, yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. Let me chat a little bit more. So I totally agree with you about one conversation away.
And the whole idea of people can see the sales pitch coming. And I think they want to know who they're working with. HubSpot years ago did a study and they found an about the founder page was highly indicative of a buying decision. And so, the bigger the decision, the more you want to know what this person is, who their heart is, why do they believe it this way? And if you think about it, from branding, you think of all the big brands today. If I say one, you could probably say the person that goes along with that. And it doesn't come from a 10-second social media ad. It probably comes from you hearing a conversation with them over the years.
Well, how can, because that's a question I get a lot from our members and other agencies I chat with is, how can I get more conversations?
Well, I would say always remember more is not better, better is better. And then what is a conversation, right? So you want to have the conversation with the right people. A mutual friend. I remember Shane Duffy out there in Texas. I always remember something he told me. He's like, you can never say enough of the wrong things to the right people or the right things to the wrong people. So make sure you're having the conversation with the right people from the very beginning. Are they interested in this? Just because you can yell to 3 billion people through the internet doesn't mean they want to hear you. So first, make sure that it's focused in there, that they're interested in having that conversation, and then make sure it is a conversation. Like here, podcast interviews. That I understand what the word comes from, but to me, the best interviews are more, conversations, right? It's not you're asking the same 5 questions and I'm giving the same talking points. So have that back and forth. If you've got a client that asks you a question, well, instead of just answering one, jump up on the on a video and say, hey, Jason just asked me this question. I thought it was great. I had to think about it myself. Here is my answer. And then encourage people to say, what are your thoughts on it? Start that conversation. And sometimes people will say, well, that's not scalable. I don't know if it's scalable or not, but it's effective. And I'd rather have effective than ineffective and scalable. Jason, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I cannot hear you right now.
Oops. Well, that happens when I hit mute. Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Okay. I heard my dog yawning behind me. I'm like, oh, I got to hit mute real quick. And then I totally forgot it. That reminds me, I saw this really cool product on Shark Tank. It has like this little thing that highlights when you're on mute or unmuted. I need to get that. But where I was going was, if I can remember, you're really a great connector, and you're connecting a lot of these great people together to have these conversations. And then people kind of go, oh man, I had a great conversation here. And then they relate that to you. How is that something that you've had to work on in order to do that better and to continue to do that? That's something I always struggle with.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. I'm honored by that. And I think it's come with time also. Because one of the things that I've thought of is that the best gift you can ever give somebody is an introduction to a new idea or a new person, right? When you remember that professor in college or the teacher in high school that really opened your mind to something, or once again
Still
going back,
waiting. Still waiting on that one.
right? Or how about the person that introduced you to your spouse, right? That's not something that you could do for yourself, but it changed your entire life. And I've always loved that of getting introduced to people, introduced to ideas, and I think we're blessed to be a blessing. So trying to do that for other people too, and that's one of the biggest thrills I get is listening to podcasts right now and hearing a podcast host, say, oh, this is my friend so and so, and that they build up a relationship there and going, my company, Interview Valet, had a small portion in making that happen. Once again, another mutual friend of ours, Morgan Wright, he pointed out to me years ago. Well, it was like about a year ago. That remember we used to play that 6 Degrees of Separation with Kevin
Yep,
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Yep.
Yeah, that was like so Y2K. Right now it's like 2.3. So with that, you're 2.3 degrees of separation from anybody in the world. So, right, if you want to have a conversation with them, well, then you probably should go on LinkedIn or think, who could introduce me to Jason Swenk? Who knows him, right? Because you'll get a lot further with that conversation than you will just with some spam email.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was something we did in the agency a lot, especially when we wanted to reach into brands. We were like, we would, and I tell people to do this in the mastermind all the time, like come up with your top 100 hit list and then start going, who's the contact in that hit list? And then who do I know that knows them that can connect us and create that conversation that we've been looking for? Because people think, oh, well, like one of the excuses today, on the mastermind call was like, well, I can't send a strategic gift because no one's working in the office. They're all at home. But like we were talking about like, hey, what if you figured out who you're going after and who's connected to them and seeing if they can connect you? Because that's how we landed some big accounts.
And you look at that at one side, it's that account-based marketing. I would say that's even more granular than that, right? Of the relationship at an account-based. Whereas you look at that and somebody else comes and says, well, I can buy this list of, 5,000, companies and I can scrape this database. Well, so can everybody else, right?
Hmm.
And they're probably doing it also. I laugh, I get pitched to be on my podcast about 4 times a day. Jason, I don't have a podcast, right? But everybody loves it and wants to um, be on it. And I wonder how many good clients are getting the same thing, where it's just another email that somebody is just spamming them. Where if it's an introduction from a friend, yeah, if Jason, it's almost like the mob, right? If Jason vouches for him, I'll take a meeting with them.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that's some low hanging fruit, all of you listening, that you should look at of going, do we have a targeted list that we're going after? Or have this go over this with your sales team, which you should have a sales team. You should not be doing the sales, but that's another story and that's another episode we can chat about. But then identify what's the connection, what's that degree of connection, and then ask. And I think you'd be really surprised if we come back. If you look in 2 weeks, do this for 2 weeks, I think you would never stop doing it again.
And we teach the same thing in podcasting, right? People will spam lists, and I'll always say, come up with the target list of 10 podcasts, and then think about it. What are the 3 types of people that people want to have on their podcast? Their friends, their friends of friends, and people they want to be their friends. So figure out how you can figure out to be in one of those groups.
Exactly. Well, this has all been amazing, Tom. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the audience?
Um, the one thing that I would encourage people, we're blessed to be a blessing. And a lot of times people will say, well, what I know, everybody knows, right? I've got nothing special in a conversation to add. Well, that's not true, right? You are an expert on something. You look at the legal definition of an expert. It's somebody by their training, their experience, their life knows more than the average person. I guarantee you, you're working, 16 hours a day sometimes in your business. You know more about your business. You know more about your industry. Now, are you the one expert? No, there's not one expert, but you are an expert, and what you know could really help people. What's ordinary to you is amazing to others. So share that, either as, a podcast guest, as a podcast host, doing blogs, videos, whatever it is. I think you'll bless a lot of people, but you'll also be amazed at how it comes back and helps your agency.
Awesome. Well, Tom, I know you have a book that came out, so tell us, where can the people listening get it?
Yeah, so got a book called One Conversation Away. It's my second book. Podcast Guest Profits was the first one. You can get all of those. I'm not here to sell books. I sell some, but I give a lot more away. If you come back to interviewvalet with a v.com/Swenk, we'll put everything there. I'll put my social media. If you'd like to talk about how your agency or your clients could use targeted podcast interviews, I'd be thrilled to talk with you about
Awesome.
that also.
I thought you were going to be like, I'll put my social security number there. I'm like, don't put your social security. I just mentally that my mind went there, but awesome. Well, go check that out. Thanks so much, Tom, for coming on the show. And if you guys want to be around amazing agency owners where they're sharing what's working, and then also have a mastermind specifically for your operations, for your sales team, I want you all to go to digitalagencyelite.com, request an invite, and start applying. And maybe you'll be the right member for us, and we will chat soon. So go there now. And until next time, have a swank day.